Okay, everyone, we are going to moving on to chapter 3, The Power of Now, a spiritual, a guide to spiritual enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle, chapter 3, for this soul family connection. Chapter 3. These things will help you see clarity in the soul family connection, this book. See clarity on everything that's going on, spiritually. So, moving deeply into the now. Don't seek yourself in the mind. I feel that there is a great deal I need to learn about working on of my mind before I can get anywhere near full consciousness or spiritual enlightenment. No, you don't. The problem of the mind cannot be solved on the level of the mind. Once you understood this basic dysfunction, there isn't really much else you need to learn or understood. Studying the complexities of the mind may make you a good psychologist, but doing so won't take you beyond the mind. Just as the study of madness isn't enough to create sanity, you already understood the basic mechanics of unconsciousness state. Identification with the mind, which creates a false self, the ego, as a substitute for your truth, self-rooted in being. You become as a branch cut off from the vine, as Jesus put it. The ego's needs are endless. It feels vulnerable and threatened, and so lives in state of fear and you want. Once you know the basics dysfunction operates, there is no need to explore all the countless manifestations. No need to make it a complex personal problem. The ego, of course, loves that. It is always seeking for something to attach itself in order to uphold and strengthen its illusionary sense of self. It will readily attach itself to your problems. This is why for so many people it's a large part of their sense of self and intimately connected with their problems. Once this has happened, the last thing they want to is to become free of them. That would mean loss of self. There can be a great deal of unconscious ego investment in pain and suffering. So once you recognize the root of your unconscious as identification with the mind, which of course includes emotions, you step out of it. You become present. When you are present, you allow the mind to become without getting entangled in it. The mind in itself is not dysfunctional. It is a wonderful tool. Dysfunction sets in when you seek yourself and mistake it for who you are. If it becomes egoic mind and takes off your whole life, the end of delusion in time. It seems almost impossible to disidentify from the mind. We are all immersed into it. How do you teach yourself a fish to fly? Here is the key. End of delusion of time. End and time are inseparable. Remove time from mind and it stops, unless you choose to use it. To be identified with your mind is to be trapped in time. The compulsion to live almost exclusively through memory and anticipation. This creates an endless preoccupation with past and future and an unwillingness to honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. The compulsion arises because the past gives you an identity and the future holds promise of salvation, fulfillment in whatever form. Both are illusions. But without a sense of time, how would we function in this world? There would be no goals to strive toward anyone. I would even know who I am, because my past makes me who I am today. I think time is something very precious, and we need to learn to use it wisely rather than to waste it. Time isn't precious at all because it's an illusion. What can perceive as precious is now time of one point of out of time, out of now. That is perceived, that is precious indeed. The more you focus on time, past and future, the more you miss the now. And the precious thing there is, why is the precious thing staying stagnant? Staying stagnant of ego and present, thinking of only what's now, not thinking of getting rid of your past mistakes. Firstly, because it's the only thing that there is. The eternal present is a space of which your whole life unfolds. The one factor that remains constant, life is now. There was never a time when your life was now. Not now, nor will it ever be. Secondly, the now is the only point that you could take beyond limit confines of your mind. It is your only point of access into timeless and formless realm of being. Nothing exists outside of now. Aren't past and future just as real, sometimes even more real, than the present? After all, the past determines who we are, as well as who we are perceived and behave in the present, and our future goals determine which actions we take in the present. You haven't yet grasped the essence of saying because you are trying to understand it mentally. The mind cannot understand this, only you can. Please just listen. Have you ever experienced, done, thought, felt of outside the now? Do you think you ever will? It is possible for anything to happen or be outside the now. The answer is obvious, isn't it? Nothing ever happened in the past. It happened now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will happen in the now. What you think of the past in the memory trace stored in the mind of former now. When you remember the past, you reactivate a memory trace, and you do so now. The future is an imagined now, a projection of the mind. Now the future comes as the now. When you think about the future, you do it now. Past and future obviously have no reality of their own, just as the moon has no light of its own, but can only reflect the light of the sun. So our past and future only pale reflections of the light, power reality of the eternal present. The reality is borrowed from the now. The essence of what I am saying here cannot be understood by the mind. The moment you grasp it, there is a shift in consciousness from mind to being, from time to present. Suddenly, everything feels alive, radiates energy, emanates being. The key to a spiritual dimension. In life-threatening emergency situations, the shift in consciousness from time to present sometimes happens naturally. The personality has a past and future momentarily, recedes, and is replaced by an intense conscious present. Very still, but very alert at the same time. Whatever response is needed when arises out of state of consciousness. The reason why some people love to engage in dangerous activities such as mountain climbing, race car racing, and so on, although they may not be aware of it, that is to force them now into the now. The intensely alive state that is free of time, free of problems, free of thinking, free of burden of the personality. Slipping away from the present moment for a second may mean death. Unfortunately, they come to depend on a particular activity to be in that state. But you do not need to climb to the north face of the Eger. You cannot enter the state of now. Since ancient times, spiritual masters of the traditions have pointed to the now as the key to spiritual dimensions. Despite this, it seems to have remained a secret. It is certainly not taught in churches and temples. If you go to a church, you may read readings from the gospel, such as, "Take no thought for the morrow shall take no thought for the things of itself." Or, "Nobody who puts his hands to the plow that looks back and forth the kingdom of God." Or you might hear the passage about beautiful flowers that are not anxious about tomorrow, but live with ease and timeless now, and are privately provided for abundantly by God. The depth and radical nature of these teachings are not recognized. No one seems to realize that they're meant to have lived so bring profound inner transformation. The whole essence of Zen consists in walking away on razor's edge of now. To be so utterly to be present with no problem, no suffering, nothing can who you are in the presence can survive in you. In the now, the absence of time, all your problems dissolve. Suffering needs time, it cannot survive in the now. The great Zen master Rinzai, in order to take his students' attention away from the time, would often raise his finger and slowly ask, what is it this moment is lacking? A powerful question that does not require the answer on level of the mind. It is designed to take your attention deeply into the now. A similar question into the Zen tradition in this, if not now, then when? The now is also central teaching of Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam. Sufis have a saying, the Sufi is the son of the time of present, and Rumi, the great poet and teacher of Sufism, declares past and future veil God. From our sight burn up both of them with fire. Mester Esefeket, the 13th century spiritual teacher, summoned it up beautifully. Time is what keeps the light from reaching us. There is no greater obstacle to God than time. Assessing the power of the now. A moment ago, when you talked about eternal present and the unreality of past and future, I found myself looking at the tree outside the window. I have to look a few times before, but this time it was different. The external perception that have not changed much, except for the colors that seem brighter and more vibrant, but there was now an added dimension to it. This is hard to explain. I don't know how, but I was aware of something invisible that I felt was the essence of the tree, its inner spirit, if like you like, and somehow was a part of that. I realized that I have now truly seen the tree before, just a flat, dead image of it. When I took the tree now, some of the awareness is still present, but I could feel it slipping away. You see, the experience is already receding into the past. Can something like this ever be more than fleeting glimpse? Okay, everyone, I'll continue with chapter 3 next time. Thank you. Have a good one.